The conflict between Israel and Palestine, which history will never forget, has taken other turns as Russia makes a bold move and issues Iran a warning asking them to cease fire immediately. This conflict has brought about so much pain, terror, and violence, especially for innocent civilians on both sides. The USA has been trying to be a peacemaker between these two regions, but has since failed to bring peace since it is still aligned with Israel. This is even more reason why Russia has stepped in and handed Israel a warning of a ceasefire. Russia's demand for a truce amid international attempts to comprehend the issues in the area has attracted additional attention to the crisis in Gaza. The origins of the conflict in Gaza can be traced back to the late 19th century, when Jewish immigrants began settling in Palestine, then a part of the Ottoman Empire. After World War II, the United Nations authorized the division of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, leading to the establishment of Israel in 1948. This action initiated the First Arab-Israeli War, which laid the groundwork for the continuing conflict. The Gaza Strip, a short sliver of land on the eastern Mediterranean coast, has been a crucial area of contention during the 1948 war. It was under Egyptian administration until the Six-Day War in 1967, when Israel conquered the territory in 2005. Israel removed its residents and military from Gaza without any agreement ending direct control, but maintained jurisdiction over borders, airspace, and sea access, leading to continuing tensions. The Gaza conflict is heavily influenced by Hamas, a Palestinian political and military organization. Hamas emerged in the late 1980s and gained prominence during the first Palestinian Intifada against Israeli occupation. Over the years, it has been designated as a terrorist organization by several countries, including Israel. The United States and the European Union, because of its use of violence against civilians and its unwillingness to acknowledge Israel's right to exist. Hamas won the Palestinian parliamentary elections in 2006, leading to a brief period of political uncertainty and factional warfare inside the Palestinian territories. The group's hold over Gaza consolidated following the violent coup in 2007, ultimately splitting the Palestinian territories into two entities. The West Bank, led by the Palestinian Authority under Fatah, Gaza has been controlled by Hamas since 2007. Gaza has suffered a harsh Israeli and Egyptian embargo, resulting in serious effects for its citizens. This siege greatly restricts the movement of people and products, leading to an economic and humanitarian disaster. Necessities in infrastructure and public services have deteriorated, worsening living circumstances for over 2 million people in a constrained region with inadequate access to clean water and power. Widespread poverty and unemployment have generated discontent and hatred, resulting in a cycle of violence and upheaval. Recent events in Palestine have gained worldwide notice within this backdrop of bloodshed and misery. Russia sent a warning to Israel, demanding a quick ceasefire in Gaza. Russia's action has significance because of its long-standing relations with both Israel and the Palestinian Authority. Russia's warning underlines growing worry over the deterioration of the humanitarian situation in Gaza and the prospect of additional escalation. Moscow has voiced regret about human fatalities and infrastructure devastation in Gaza, while respecting Israel's security concerns and its right to defend itself like many nations. Russia is profoundly worried by the humanitarian disaster in Gaza. The continuing siege, coupled with recent violence, has produced catastrophic conditions for people. Russia's support for a ceasefire corresponds with its commitment to safeguarding civilian lives and advancing humanitarian values. Russia has a legitimate interest in preserving security in the Middle East, as the increasing bloodshed in Gaza might spill over into neighboring nations. Aggravating regional instability, Moscow's warning tries to provide stability to the already volatile region. Russia has served as a mediator in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, working with both Israeli and Palestinian leaders to organize negotiations for a peaceful conclusion. This warning highlights Russia's ambition to play a constructive role in resolving the situation. Proving that it can influence regional disputes on the global stage, it corresponds with Russia's wider aims of becoming a beneficial factor in the world, pressing Israel diplomatically to halt its military operations in Gaza, while Israel emphasizes security grounds for its actions. There's a rising international clamor for moderation and a ceasefire. The Middle East is a complicated mix of rivalries and alliances. Russia's participation, it may affect other regional actors like Iran and Turkey, which are interested in the Palestinian cause. Russia's request for a ceasefire has won backing from other states, including certain European countries and China. The global community increasingly insists on stopping hostilities and returning to peace talks. If a ceasefire happens, it could create an opportunity for renewed negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians. However, challenges persist, including the issues of Palestinian statehood and the status of Jerusalem after Russia's war. The world is intently following developments in Gaza, and the replies from Israel and Hamas to the request for a ceasefire have received a mixed reception, showing the deep-seated divides and intricacies of the war. Israel, claiming a commitment to avoid civilian losses, continues military operations in Gaza, citing the necessity to defend its residents from missile launches. Israeli officials believe they're targeting Hamas terrorists and infrastructure, despite the huge number of civilian sea injuries and pervasive destruction that has outraged many on the opposite side. Hamas refuses to quit, pledging to keep battling what they regard as an Israeli assault. Hamas claims to defend Palestinian rights and get support from some Arab and Muslim nations, but their tactics, like launching rockets from crowded areas, get criticized for putting Palestinian civilians at risk. The United Nations and other groups are working hard to make a deal for a ceasefire and help the people in Gaza. The UN Security Council has had a bunch of emergency meetings to talk about the crisis, with many countries saying the violence needs to stop right away. While everyone is focused on getting a quick ceasefire, there's a bigger question about how to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the long term. Things like the status of Jerusalem, the right of Palestinian refugees to return, and setting up a real Palestinian state have always caused problems in the past. Russia warned that Israel has started talks again about the big country's role in fixing the problem. The United States has generally played a significant role in Middle East discussions, and they're now claiming they favor a ceasefire. They dispatched a top diplomat to engage with both parties. The European Union is also working hard to tell everyone to calm down and stop fighting. European politicians are highlighting the importance of a two-state solution and arguing for peaceful coexistence between Israel and a Palestinian state. China's growing status as a global force has also raised worries about the escalating violence and highlighted the requirement for a peaceful settlement of the issue. China's rising interest in the Middle East is driven by economic investments and a resolve to play a more important role in global affairs. The crisis in Gaza has resonated internationally, leading to peaceful protests in many countries. Solidarity marches supporting the Palestinian cause have been conducted from London to Jakarta, with people asking for a stop to bloodshed and a just settlement to the conflict. The Gaza conflict remains a deeply rooted and very convoluted dispute that has eluded resolution for decades. Russia's latest warning to Israel, advocating an urgent ceasefire, reinforces the gravity of the situation and emphasizes the necessity for international engagement to avert more misery and instability. What do you think about Russia requesting Israel to stop? Let us know your opinion in the comment area if you like this video.